How that transition into Dub Magazine?
You know, I was born in East LA, and growing up on like First and Soto, First and Matthews, I always saw the lowriders and stuff since I was little, and I had an affinity for cars because I saw the power that it gave to people. You know, both with the chicks and with, you know, the people in the community and stuff. It was like, you got a bad car, you're strong. Like, you know, you're somebody.
Okay. And then that led to you putting together a magazine.
Well, you know, and then just kind of being fascinated with the whole car culture. I mean, a lot of people don't know, but by age 11, I was diagnosed with an eye disease called keratoconus. So I was almost legally blind by 11, so I couldn't read and write. So I guess it was the like bright colors of the lowriders and stuff had a lot more impact on me because I couldn't see much of the other stuff. With my eyes, I have the disease in both eyes. So eventually, when I started Dub, I lost my vision in my left eye. So I've been blind 3 times in my life, had 2 cornea transplants. I had a cornea transplant 9 months ago. That's why my eye's a little messed up now. So I'm still legally blind in my left eye, but they're correcting it. So just kind of, I tell people, since God took my sight, they gave me vision. So I'm able to see things differently. And what I was doing was, I was a big fan of lowriding, and then lowrider never evolved. So I was a big fan of lowriding and the Source magazine, the hip hop magazine. So all I did was kind of merge those 2 together to start Dub. Because I knew that Source wasn't going to add cars, and I knew lowrider weren't going to add, you know, anything other than Hispanic and little wire wheels. So the market was opening up. And then what gave me the idea was when the advertisers for lowrider turned into big 20s, and the content still stayed 13-inch wire wheels, it gave the market opportunity a hole. So I jumped in that hole.
Nice. Okay. Creative. Nice. And that obviously helped you connect those celebrities and corporations and spawn to other enterprises, right?
Well, what's weird is, or unique, is I worked in the music industry, so I did a label deal through Zoo Entertainment through BMG when I was 21 years old. Me and my partners produced El Presidente, the song Café con Leche, and we licensed B Code and Panther Sagging, a lot of those songs, and put it on Out of Control Records. Our production company is called Tough Guy Production. So I was in the music industry. I did it, you know, fixed up cars and all that stuff when I was younger, designed wheels, went into music, then went in fashion, then went and started doing concerts. And then from there, broke out and started doing Dub. So Dub is a culmination of all the things that I've done in the past. And all the celebrities were people that we threw parties for, did concerts with, all that stuff as it progressed. So I basically took our network and turned it into a different opportunity. What gave me the idea to start Dub was I was watching an auto auction, and it was on TV, and it was like Barrett Jackson or one of them. And they were saying, there's a Mercedes S500 is going to sell for double the value because it's owned by a celebrity. And I'm sitting there like, oh, what celebrity is it? You know, blah, blah, blah. And they're making all this fuss about it. Lorenzo rims, Rentec engine. I'm like, yo, this car is sick. They go, the celebrity's Alan Jackson. I said, who the is Alan Jackson? It's a country music singer. So I sat there saying, man, if he gave that much value to the cars, imagine what like Pac and Snoop and all these guys could give the value to these vehicles. So what we did was kind of like what Michael Jordan did for the shoe industry. We did it for the car industry, but for the shoes on your cars.
Now, in terms of like forward thinking and being creative and things like that, is that something you've always had, or was that part of your like parental upbringing?
So I think it was like 2010, Newsweek said I was one of the top 10 big thinkers for big business in the 21st century. And you know, the Newsweek magazine called me and they told me that. I said, dude, you have the wrong number, bro. I barely went to East LA College for 2 semesters. Like, I'm not that guy. And they said, no, we recognize you for your thinking. And then now I think back, it's like, I always thought a little bit differently than most people. And I think a lot of times people shun me for that. Because I've always tried to say, well, I think this is going to happen. They're like, dude, shut up, fool, you know? I'm like, no, I think it's going to happen. Then it happens. And then they'll either give me credit or they ignore me, right? Because they know that I was right. So it's one of those things. So that happened a lot. But I just knew that, one, I love cars and I love the passion of the street culture. And I wanted to make it socially acceptable. So to me, the movement was to create energy to make other people excited with street culture. And at the time, hip hop was banging, street culture, you know, on the apparel side was banging. So it was just like a perfect storm. I mean, if I had to start it all over again, I wouldn't even know how, because it was the perfect storm. It was like you had all the things, all that women's hitting at one time.
That makes sense. That makes sense. All right, what are some words of encouragement you give to entertainers and entrepreneurs?
You know, the words of encouragement I give to most people, anybody, I mean, even myself every day, is get your mind right. Because if you have anxiety, you have negative thoughts, you have all of those things, you're not going to be able to achieve at the top level, period. So I do therapy, I do meditation, and I didn't do all these things up until like probably 10 years ago. But I mean, you're talking to a guy that's conflicted. My brother just committed suicide last year. I've had suicidal thoughts since I was 7. So it's a very, very difficult thing to overcome. But that's that magic, bro. It's like, you have to be kind of insane to be special. And how do you go and manage that? So I tell people, get your mind right. Because if mind's not right, it's going to trip on you when you least expect it. And that's when you're going to have problems. It's emotion. Anxiety is emotion. If you don't address it, it's going to come out. And it's going to come out when you least want it to. But if you're actually paying attention to it, then you could kind of control it, right? So what people need to look at is they're like a table. So you have the top of the table and you have the legs. The top of the table is who we think we are based on the legs and the support of what the legs are. If we change the legs to be better supports, not these negative things that happen to us, then the tabletop could be whatever it wants to be. The unfortunate thing is everybody's usually grounded by who they are based on the table and based on what happened to them in their life. A lot of times tragedy. So they have 4 tragedy incidences that makes them who they are. So they never could believe they could be anybody else. So I used to tell people, I used to build walls to protect myself. Now I build bridges so I never feel stuck. Shout out Music Connection Magazine.
And where online can people find you?
So people can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, under Myles Kovacs, my name, or dubmagazine.com.